Sometimes the pettiest fights come from the smallest things. Case in point, my ranch mailbox. For years, it stood about 3 feet from the main road, exactly where the county had approved it. But one summer, after a particularly nasty storm, the post tilted, and I decided to move it a little closer to my driveway entrance. Just 3 feet. That way, the post truck wouldn't keep clipping the ditch, and I wouldn't have to trek through mud after every rain. Simple, right? Not if you ask Karen. The very next morning, she was standing by my mailbox with her phone out, snapping pictures like she'd just uncovered a major crime scene. "What do you think you're doing?" I asked, walking over. She squinted at me. "This is a federal violation. You can't just move a mailbox without HOA approval." I almost laughed. "Karen, the HOA has nothing to do with mailboxes. This is between me and the Postal Service." "Oh, we'll see about that," she hissed, storming off. I thought she was bluffing, until, 2 days later, a sheriff's cruiser rolled up my driveway. "Sir," the deputy said politely, "we got a complaint about an illegally moved mailbox." I raised an eyebrow. "You've got to be kidding me." "Nope. The complainant claims it violates property codes and is endangering community safety." I sighed, then handed him a folder. Inside was a letter from the county zoning office approving the move, plus an email from the U.S. Postal Service confirming the placement was fine. The deputy flipped through the documents and shook his head. "Figures. I'll file this as a false complaint. Sorry to bother you." Karen, who had been lurking behind a hedge, burst out screeching. "You can't ignore this. He broke the law. I demand his mailbox be put back exactly where it was." The deputy turned to her. "Ma'am, the only one breaking the law here is you, for filing a false report. I suggest you go home." Her jaw dropped. This isn't over. But it was only just beginning. I filed a property harassment complaint and forwarded everything to my attorney. Turns out, moving a mailbox with proper county approval is 100% legal. What isn't legal? Stalking someone's property, filing fraudulent reports, and interfering with federal mail service. Karen's antics triggered a full property dispute case, and in court, the judge was not amused. "You wasted law enforcement resources," he told her sternly. "You harassed your neighbor, and you interfered with federal postal operations. That carries serious consequences." The ruling? Karen was fined heavily, ordered to pay my legal fees, and slapped with a restraining order, meaning she wasn't allowed within 20 feet of my mailbox ever again. The HOA tried to distance themselves from her, but the damage was done. My quiet little 3-foot move ended up costing Karen over $15,000 and her precious title as HOA president. Now, every time I check the mail, I smile. Not just because the ground is dry and the walk is easy, but because that mailbox stands as a tiny monument to how badly Karen lost. All that chaos over 3 feet, and in the end, it buried her deeper than any hole I've ever dug on the ranch.